A woman I know did everything the responsible way. Graduated college with $34,000 in student loans, got a decent job, lived small, skipped vacations, ate at home, and spent 6 years throwing every extra dollar she had at her debt until it was completely gone. Zero balance. Clean slate. She literally cried when she made the last payment. Felt like she had finally won. 18 months later, she was sitting in a financial advisor's office being told that her net worth at 31 was essentially zero. Not because she did anything wrong, because she had been playing the right game with the wrong rules. And nobody had ever told her there was a difference. Sound familiar? Yeah, me too. I'm Matt, and this video might save you years of doing the wrong thing for the right reasons. Okay, so picture a ladder. You're trying to climb from the ground floor to the roof. Somebody hands you a ladder and says this is the only way up. You grab it, you start climbing, you feel the progress, you feel the momentum. What nobody tells you is that there's a second ladder leaning against the same wall the whole time. It goes twice as high, gets you there in half the time, and it was just sitting there the whole time. The first ladder is aggressive debt payoff. The second ladder is investing while carrying manageable debt. Both ladders work, but only one of them gets you to the roof before you're too old and tired to enjoy the view. Matt's climbing the second one, just saying. Here's the concept that changes everything, and I promise it's simpler than it sounds. The spread. The difference between the interest rate on your debt and the return you could be getting by investing that same money instead. Real numbers. You have a student loan at 5% interest. You have $500 a month of extra cash. You throw it at the loan. You save 5%. You invest it instead into a boring index fund averaging 7% annually. You earn 7%. The spread is 2 percentage points. Sounds tiny, right? Over 20 years on $500 a month, that 2-point spread is worth more than $60,000 in additional wealth. You paid off your debt faster and ended up $60,000 poorer for it. Matt learned this the hard way. You don't have to. Let me tell you about Daniel. 28 years old, $22,000 in student loans at 4.8% interest, $800 a month of breathing room. His parents tell him kill the debt first. His coworker tells him invest now. Daniel listens to his parents. 3 years later, he clears the loan at 31 and starts investing. His coworker started investing $600 a month at 28, while making minimum loan payments. By age 55, Daniel has $580,000. His coworker has $810,000. His parents gave him advice that cost him $230,000. They weren't wrong that debt is bad. They were wrong about which debt, at which rate, compared to which alternative. That's the whole game right there. And Matt would have made the exact same mistake before he ran the numbers. And here's the critical thing the debt payoff industry never talks about. Not all debt is the same. High interest debt, credit cards at 20% to 29% APR, predatory personal loans, buy now, pay later schemes with penalty rates hiding in the fine print. This debt needs to die immediately. No spreadsheet in the world makes carrying 24% interest debt a good idea when your best investing alternative returns 7% to 10%. Pay it off. Aggressively. Yesterday. Like seriously, go do that right now and then come back. Matt will wait. But low interest debt is a completely different animal. Student loans below 6%. Mortgages in the 3% to 5% range. This debt lives in a zone where the math genuinely favors investing the difference. I know that feels wrong, but feelings are not math. Let me show you the mortgage math because this is where people completely lose their minds. You have a $300,000 mortgage at 4%. Your neighbor has the same mortgage, but makes double payments for 5 years to pay it off early. You take that same extra money and invest it at 7% average returns. In 15 years, your neighbor pays off his mortgage. He throws a party. Everyone claps. Matt is not at that party. Matt still has his mortgage. But Matt's investment account has $450,000 in it. The neighbor has zero investments but owns his house outright, worth $300,000. Matt's net worth from that decision is $450,000. The neighbor's is $300,000. Matt is $150,000 wealthier than the person who did the responsible thing. And Matt still has his house. Still has his house. Now here's the part that makes this complicated. Paying off debt feels incredible in a way that investing simply does not. When you make that final payment on a loan, a switch flips in your brain. Something that felt like a weight lifts. There is genuine neurological reward in elimination. Investing $500 into an index fund produces exactly zero of that feeling. The number goes up by $500 on a screen. That's it. No party, no feeling of freedom, no moment. Matt knows this feeling. Matt has felt both sides of this. And the side that feels better in the moment is almost always the side that costs you more in the long run. The industry that sells debt payoff programs knows this too. They market to the feeling, not the math. Because the feeling converts. Meet Sandra, 35. She has a $15,000 car loan at 3.9% interest and $12,000 in a savings account she has been hoarding for 2 years to pay it off in one shot. She hasn't invested a single dollar in those 2 years because investing while having debt felt wrong. Here's what those 2 years actually cost her. $12,000 invested 2 years ago at 7% average returns is now worth roughly $13,750. She chose to earn 3.9% by eliminating debt instead of earning 7% by investing. That decision cost her about $980 in lost returns. Doesn't sound catastrophic, right? Multiply that logic across a decade, and that pattern costs the average person between $80,000 and $200,000 in retirement wealth. Matt calls this the waiting trap, and it is the most expensive habit most people have. Here's the framework Matt actually uses. The debt interest rate hierarchy. Rank all your debts by interest rate right now. Everything above 7% gets attacked aggressively with every extra dollar you have. No investing until those are gone. The spread is too negative. Everything between 4% and 7% gets a hybrid approach. Split it 50-50 between debt payoff and investing. The spread is close enough to neutral that both options have merit, and building the investing habit now matters. Everything below 4% gets minimum payments only, and every extra dollar goes straight to investing. You are mathematically burning money by prepaying this debt. Every single month you prepay a 3% loan instead of investing is a month you chose 3% over 7%. That math does not improve with time. And here's one more thing almost nobody mentions about low-rate debt. Inflation is secretly on your side. If you borrowed $100,000 at 4% fixed interest a few years ago, you are paying back that loan in today's dollars that are worth less than the dollars you borrowed. Inflation has been running between 3% and 9% over the last few years. The real cost of your 4% debt adjusted for inflation is actually close to zero in some years. The bank lent you yesterday's dollars. You're paying them back with cheaper today's dollars. Meanwhile, your investments are growing in nominal terms that also benefit from inflation. You are winning on both ends simultaneously. Matt finds this deeply satisfying. The bank does not. Okay, action steps. First, make a list of every debt you have right now with the exact interest rate next to each one. Not the monthly payment. The rate. That is the number that determines your entire strategy. If you don't know the rate, look it up tonight. 5 minutes. Changes everything. Above 7% you attack it. Between 4% and 7% you split it. Below 4% minimum payments only, and you invest the rest. This is the whole system. It fits on one piece of paper. Matt did this in about 20 minutes, and it changed every financial decision he makes. Do this tonight before you do anything else. Step 2. Automate everything. Set up automatic transfers the day after your paycheck hits. Make it impossible to spend the money because it's already gone before you see it. The best investors aren't the most disciplined people. They're the people who built systems that don't require discipline. The money moves while you're sleeping, while you're watching TV, while Matt is eating pizza, which is most of the time, honestly. And one day you look up and the number is enormous and you barely had to think about it. That's the whole point. Build the system, then get out of the way. The woman from the beginning, the one who spent 6 years paying off loans and arrived at 31 with nothing, she's fine now. She understood the hierarchy, stopped prepaying her remaining low-rate loan, automated investments, started building the gap. She told Matt the hardest part wasn't the math. It was unlearning the feeling that debt was shameful and needed to be destroyed at any cost. Once she separated the emotion from the rate, the decisions became obvious and almost boring, which is exactly how good financial decisions are supposed to feel. Boring. Automatic. Working in the background while you live your actual life. 3 things. Remember these. Not all debt is the same. The interest rate determines the strategy, not the existence of the debt itself. A 4% loan and a 24% credit card are not the same problem, and they don't get the same solution. The spread is the only number that matters. Compare your debt rate to your investing alternative. Do the math once and stop making this emotional. And stop waiting. Compound interest does not negotiate with your timeline. Every month you delay investing because something doesn't feel resolved is a month of compounding you cannot get back. The best time to start was yesterday. The second best time is right now, with the debt still on the books and the automatic transfer already queued up. Matt figured this out later than he wanted to. You don't have to make the same mistake. Lazy investing built more fortune than aggressive debt payoff. The math doesn't care about the feeling of a zero balance. It only cares about time and rate. Give it both and get out of the way.